see so many people here. This is a talk about Flatiron. Flatiron is a project by nodejitsu. Our motto is build the best tools and the best systems will follow. So who am I? Well, I'm Maciej Małecki. I work for nodejitsu. We do node.js hosting and training. I contribute to a few open source projects, and I'm a quite cool guy, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get it started. So what the fuck is Flatiron? I mean, who heard of it? Really? Okay, I get it. Yeah, cool. So yeah, it's not a building. I mean, it is. That's where the name came from. Also, it's a framework. Framework for both sides of your code. So server side and client side. But we'll talk about this later. So what actually makes Flatiron that cool that I'm here to talk about it? So, well, Flatiron doesn't tell you what to do. You can structure your code in the way you like. It isn't like a big monolithic thing which tells you how you should structure your code. Also, almost every component can be used standalone. So let's say that we have a database layer, and this database layer can be used separately, like in your own application, which doesn't really require any of our other components. So before releasing Flatiron, we used it a lot at nodejitsu. It's like in every our product, internal one or public one. Our master API uses many of Flatiron projects. Also, Flatiron is isomorphic. Isomorphic means that you can actually use your code in two places, at the client side and at the server side. So basically sharing code, right? Sharing code is fine, it's really cool. Also, it does web scale. So it's a meme, yeah, whatever. So what I said, Flatiron isn't a monolithic framework. Like, no warm and fuzzy feeling which you get by using Express. Have anyone here used Express.js? Yeah, many people did. It's sad, but yeah, whatever. So Express actually tells you how to structure your code. Its description is that it's an MVC framework. Well, framework shouldn't have any structure, really, at least according to me. I may be wrong, but also whatever. And the important thing here, you should think twice before using it for your website. Website is the keyword here. Flatiron isn't really for websites when you use it on the client side. Flatiron is for web apps. What's the difference between a website and web apps? Well, websites have this funny thing called SEO, and it lets Google search, index it, and lets people use it and find it, actually. But when you build a web app, you don't actually need people Googling in it, right? You need it when you build a website. So yeah, actually, when you use a lot of client-side code, well, Google doesn't really cope with it well. So yeah, that's the second thing which Flatiron isn't good at. We have many projects. There are like 18 open source projects with Flatiron. I don't actually know. I can check it. A second. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, fuck. Oh, damn. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, the Wi-Fi is down, which means that I won't be able to do one fun thing later. I think we can deal with it in some way. Yeah? This thing? What's the password? Do I need a password here? Oh, cool, I don't.
Password? Or do you have already?
I don't have one. I actually use the speakers one.
Okay, it's working.
Okay, cool. Yes, I will be able to do this funny thing later, which is related to our secret sauce. But yeah, our projects. Projects at the left side work at the client side. Our objective is to move as many projects from the right side to the left side. Why? Because reusing code is fun. Like, who really likes writing code? I mean, come on. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I try to avoid writing code as much as possible because writing code introduces bugs and that's not fun. Also, some projects don't make sense to work at client side because we have many tools that actually like CLI tools. We want parties to the client side. But yeah, code reuse. It's old. It's like 60s or something. We can do better. Ultimate code reuse. Let's use the same code in browser and on your server. Like what? Well, the main difference between browser and the server-side code, so like node.js code, is the very different module system. Well, like we have script and we have require in node.js. It really differs, but it's easy to cope with. Like we have to use global scope in a browser, but we can deal with it, right? Okay, so now let's introduce you guys to some of our projects. Most of them are really fun, and the ones here are actually very fun. So we wrote our own templating system. Who the fuck does that? I mean, it's hard, but it isn't really a templating language. It has no DSL. Like when you look at it, there's this markup. Do you see any mustache-like code, like these braces? They are really ugly. So we just use IDs. And it lets us bind data to markup, not data to DSL or data to whatever. But yeah, actually Place does that like that. I mean, I find this syntax better. Who likes this syntax more than any other templating language? Yeah. Like, not many people do that. I like you. Really. We should get drunk later. So yeah, Place is really a simple function. This is a really simple usage. It offers many other functions, but this is the simplest usage here. And then we have Broadway. Who here has been on Camel's talk about structuring games? Okay, yeah. So Camille talked about decoupling things, right? I like this idea. Many people like this idea because decoupling is good. And Broadway is fucking awesome at decoupling things. Well, plugins. Plugins are fun. Actually, what we have here is a simple Broadway app used on the client side. You can use the same code with one modification. You should do a require in front of the app.js. But yeah, it's a simple Broadway app. So this thing, this thing will output hello world with the delimiter which is specified here. Because Broadway is good at passing options to the plugins, and plugins are good at attaching things to Broadway. So you can seamlessly use your plugins. Like, I really like this idea. I'm not sure if people here like my ideas. They're mostly crazy, but yeah, I like this. Next thing, director. Director is a router. Well, director works both at the client side and at the server side. But actually, well, server side is a pretty different thing. This is the only of our projects which has a different API. Because, well, when you use different routers on the server side, you need things like get, post, and things. Director does it differently. It can handle many functions. This is a very simple router implemented in Director. Also, Resourceful. Resourceful is a pretty fun project. Resourceful is a resource-oriented ODM. Now I feel pretty stupid because I have no idea what this abbreviation means. But actually, Resourceful lets you define your objects in this pretty way. Like, also it does verifications here, because these things are actually verified when you try to save this thing. But this is how Resourceful looks like. You can actually think of Resourceful as about an ORM, which is SQL related thing. But Resourceful works with different NoSQL databases. So Resourceful works with CouchDB. Well, some people wrote Resourceful engine for Ryak, Redis also, I think. But at the client side, you can use Resourceful with the memory engine, which is fun because you can actually pass around these little JSON objects, and, well, there's no way of saving them yet, but we're working on a local storage and probably indexed DB store so that you can share your objects between your server and client side. Like, actually passing objects and records from CouchDB to the client side would be very fun, right? Yeah, so this is a fundamental part of Flatiron. We use it a lot. Yeah, so next thing, revalidator. Pretty easy thing. Like, the library is, I don't know, maybe 500 lines at most. It actually validates things. Like revalidator, what could it do? This is a declarative way to validate your input. I mean, I know many people use some crazy validation code at the client side, like on submit code. This actually makes it pretty easy, because you can just check one property and display these errors to user. And you can actually pretty easily bind it to the form with plates. This is actually too big to fit in a slide, but yeah, actually it's pretty easy. I know we did it. At least I did it somewhere. Yeah, look over here. Also, the secret sauce. This is going to be pretty fun. Blacksmith. What can it mean? No one knows. This is why it's really fun. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to release a new Flatiron project. What the fuck is Blacksmith? It's a static site generator. Okay, how many of you have a blog? Yeah. Okay, I don't believe, but yeah. Okay, so using WordPress for a blog is really an overkill, because you have this whole WordPress engine, which is pretty heavy, and it does really heavy computations, like when you compare it to a static server. So we actually decided, why the fuck would we use any other blog engine when we can just use static pages? Also, the same thing applies for doc sites. Like, we need documentation. Our projects are pretty heavy. We run this fun site, docs.nodejitsu.com, where we have many docs for different things you can do in Node.js. There are things for beginners, advanced people, and well, also very fun things like using ECMAScript 5 in Node.js. But yeah, I will publish it right now. Kurwa. Yeah, I hope I will. Where do I refresh it? really. Yak? How? Oh, yeah. Okay, or do I really? And there is a second thing. Blacksmith sites. Yeah, here it is. There we go. We have just published our, Flatiron open sources. Our static site generator. You can use it right now to create a funny blog post. I will actually show you how to do this because it's really easy and really fun. Oh, I have Blacksmith. That's cool. Fuck. So let's create a block. Oh, I didn't write it. Yeah, it's actually Blacksmith in it, and here we have it. CD pages, Blacksmith post. Let's name it blog post. Yeah, sure. Sorry if it's, oh shit, fuck it up. So I just create a blog post with just few command lines things. It's not really a thing for everyone. It's rather a engine for people who know how to use command line. But we're fine with that. Generating is the is the process of turning your Markdown code into into HTML code. It uses this funny little thing called marked. I would just serve this thing on port 999. Fuck you, Chrome, really? I mean, come on. Who builds this shit? Yeah, anyone from Google here? And we have a blog. Three comments, really. Yeah, this theme is pretty easy to change. It's actually really pluggable. It uses this thing. You can really easily modify this theme. But yeah, that's what we use for our blog. Let's see how nice it can be. It's our theme. We modified it because it's easy. So yeah, let's go on with this thing. So yeah, there's a documentation generated with Blacksmith, of course, here. So if you want to check this out, it's blacksmith.jit.su, which is, well, Soviet Union domain. Don't ask us how many. Yeah. Yeah, it was really hard to get one, you know. Oh, fuck, what did I just do? Yeah, we know how to release stuff. We do this on the conferences. It's really fun to see how people react to new things. Okay, how many of you would use Blacksmith? Yeah, because, yeah, it's really easy. Also, Node does web scale. You can serve your static files really easily and fast. Okay, so I guess I'm running out of time. I have like, well, 10 minutes if I'm even doing the counting right. I'm bad at math. So, yeah, I have no more slides. I fucked up. I finished this thing at 4 a.m. It was really pain. So yeah, any questions? Also, a hint. You get a nodejitsu t-shirt for a question. Yeah, so, yeah, come on.
You said you actually host Node.js apps. How does it cost?
It doesn't cost any money right now. It's free. We're in beta right now. I will show you our site nodejitsu.com or jitsu. Yeah, it's a Soviet Union. It was really hard to get the domain. So yeah, we are in beta right now, but we can activate your account, and it costs nothing. You can use our Jitsu deploy tool, which is quite nice. We will introduce paid plans, like I don't know when, but we will. But developer plan will always be free, because we love developers. Okay, so Nodejitsu t-shirt for you. Oh, am I going?
Can I have a question?
Yeah, sure. Everyone can.
Yes. Okay. I don't use word F. So question is, you said that this, Blacksmith is great for blogs, yeah, because this static sites. Are you sure that blog is static site?
Yeah.
I mean comments.
I'm really sure because
So,
you're. Yeah, sure. Go on.
I mean comments. So if I would like to make a blog on Blacksmith, I should use discuss or something like that, yeah?
Yeah.
There's no other way to do it.
Well, you can actually like use iframe. Yeah.
I pretend I didn't hear that. Okay?
Yeah, because the way Blacksmith does it is a static site. That's why it's different. Like, why would you generate this thing every single request when you can do it just once? Okay, so t-shirts.
We get cache templates. That's
Okay, but caching, yeah, it's complicated.
Blog isn't a static site. Documentation, yeah, but blog isn't a static site.
Okay, you can have comments on documentation as well, and documentation changes. Like, you can tell me that there is no way to make a static site because you always need comments. You always need social content. Well, and I will respond. You can use plugins. You can use Facebook comment. You can use discuss. Really, I mean.
It doesn't really support the open web, though. Is Nodejitsu anti-open web?
Yeah, we are. I mean, we have many open source projects, so we are really open here. We have like.
Yeah. So my question actually was, what is the connection between these Sorry, I'm here. Yeah, it's kind of unclear. You don't see me. Hi.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It was kind of unclear what is the connection between these different projects that you presented.
The point here is that there's no connection. I mean, we developed a simple glue project. It's called Flatiron/Flatiron. It has two plugins. It has HTTP plugin and CLI plugin. But it isn't really anything different. It's just a sweet sugar API sugar actually. So there is no connection. Some projects use another project, but we do not want any real connection between these projects. We want you to use this project, but we want you to develop your own glue for this project. I mean, I know it's hard. But that's the point here. We don't want to tell you how to develop your application. Well, you can use Resourceful with MVC. You can use Resourceful with MVVM. You can use it with RVP, which is Resource View Presenter. It's a really cool model which Charlie Robbins came up with. We want you to design your app. Because it makes it better.
No, I get that, but I'm just wondering because you have a bunch of project under nodejitsu and you have a bunch of projects under Flatiron, and just wondering why.
Oh,
how
yeah,
you make this decision.
Many nodejitsu projects use Flatiron projects. We use them heavily. We use CLI plugin for. Yeah. So actually, I will forget who should I give T-shirts to. Which T-shirts should I give? Like many of them.
Okay, we have another question.
Fuck.
Sorry. But for a simple developer, why is that better than, for example, PHP with cache? It's still...
Yeah, we don't have
Okay.
PHP.
So I understood that it's easier for end user to write it in a console, yes. But for a developer, why? Really, why?
I mean, PHP with cache, right? It's really easy. Like when using PHP with cache, you have to set up some infrastructure. You have to set up WordPress. You have to set up things, right? Sorry?
WordPress is really heavy for
Yeah. But I mean, we don't want to generate sites at each request. No, that's the whole point here. We they suck. Yeah, I mean, this is probably a controversial opinion, but for really block is a static site, and our block has no comments. We are dealing with that just fine. We accept opinions over Twitter. We fight back. We troll people hard over Twitter. We don't need comments for that. So yeah, the point here is we don't want to use any dynamic generation for something that simple as a block. We used Weave for serving our block before. I know anyone here heard of Weave? It's a Git-based block developed by Cryogenics, really cool guy. But yeah, we don't like it. It leaked memory. We had to reset it every 2 weeks because it was really memory heavy.